good example because there's an exception. Labels will always be like, you hear rappers talk about, okay, right now we're pushing the Lloyd Banks album, everything's going towards Banks as Interscope as G-Unit or whatever, and then next up we're gonna do Young Buck, then after Buck we're gonna do Yayo, and the gameplay is the same. I remember even Eminem spoke about, me and Dre have a formula, it kind of works right down to the tracks. The first track that comes out, it's a kind of poppy single. Eminem has been kind of playful, then it's this, then it's that. And you try to kind of replicate it with an Obi Trice, but now it doesn't work. The funds are there, the resources are there, they've got access to Jimmy Ivy and to Dre. Obi Trice will have dope beats, but now Obi Trice is Obi Trice.
His album was dope.
His album will be dope. And I'll say it's whack,
That's
right?
a crazy thing.
Then, so now, shout out to Obi Trice, just a random example. But now it becomes a case of from sales and from artists saying, I want that, right? They can give you that, but now, okay, here's the lane. Can you dunk that shit, or you're just going to give us a layup? Because now once you have access to, like we talk about in front of a dig and just opening broadly.
I think he's as dope as Nasty. Why can't if it's actually a fair question to
I'm saying
if
it's on the artist basically.
No, but I'm saying we can literally confidently say there's a lot of more Nasties in the country.
Yeah,
which means it's not about talent because the talent is there.
It's what the artist does with the opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, remember from a label perspective.
I feel like sorry, I want to go a bit left because I get what you're saying, and it's not that I'm saying it's false, but one thing that I feel like we forget is likability. A lot of nasty sees, a lot of nasty sees progression in his career has a lot to do with the fact that he's just a fucking likable kid. Like the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he moves. Like even when he's received by, I've seen his shit like when he's in US. When he's being received there, people are expecting like this artistry, arrogance, and blah, 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 which he does have in his own time. But he has this nice developed persona of approaching the public.
Humility.
That makes him so acceptable to everyone. So now, it's not only you just being a random, kind kid, but it's also a few things that are tested that you do to just draw people to your aura. And when there's a machine, the machine takes the aura and multiplies it by 10. So now it becomes much easier to sell Nasty C because he's already sellable. You just need to have enough money to expose him to enough faces for the faces to be like, we like this kid actually.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people, bro, and these are American, because I've been really trying to see how does the regular people
I find
accept him.
I don't know about you guys. Like his interviews, he's likable, but like his interviews are not like they're not grabbing.
Yes,
they're not captivating.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So for instance, like if Nasty goes to Ellen, like that makes sense. But like the reason I say that's the label because like Ellen doesn't get to know about Nasty because Nasty's persona is.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. It's there. So I agree. So likability for sure. The label can't sell if you don't exist. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But
wait. Before
but again, you must also remember the question. Like, can they repeat it?
I was about to say before you then go that, which is then now. I wanted to say that, but I also wanted to add Wuti. The reason why they can. So I want to say they can, but it's a long shot. It's not as
they could
easy.
they already have Casper on the roast. They already have
you see, okay,
like
yeah.
Boity.
Casper is actually a perfect example.
Like, you know.
Casper, I think, has, in terms of star power in SA, does have the same kind of clout level or whatever.
But I guess
you wanna
maybe
call
he's
it.
not signed like Nasty.
But besides, they can do that because they're still going to make money. But the problem is, a Casper positions himself as the folk rapper. So in US, even if you're coming as an African, in US the energy we're getting from you in this, even in European countries, is that you're this guy who goes against the guys who like rap. So even though your status is huge in South Africa and Africa, when we sell it there, we still need to sell you and not sell the fact that you are big in Africa. Whereas with Nasty, it became easier because all I need to do to convince, I'm like, yo, Ellen, I know you don't know this kid. I know you think this kid ain't shit. But if you can have 2 minutes conversation, video call with this kid, you're going to want this kid to perform. So you're now selling Nasty C, the persona. And that's difficult to replicate. Where you can have as talented people as your Nasties, but it's so difficult to then, like, which goes back to the Obitries, the Lord Banks, the whatever. 50's persona, he's not the best rapper in terms of writing on G Unit, but his persona was at that time the more sellable shit that you could find.
I remember seeing.
Banks couldn't, you know.
You know, and also with if you take 50's word for it, because I believe 50's word especially when it comes to Banks, because I saw the position Banks was in. Because Banks was in a position where he was not supposed to be, if you look at the kind of rapper he was. So because he got into the game not looking for that, he wasn't able to garner up like the drive of searching for that. Whereas a Nasty C has that drive already. So if Universal comes and like, yo, wanna pump money into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then this two, his drive was already that I wanna be as big as that guy on Flex Master Flex. So it's much easier even for the label. So my whole point of it is artists should also care about what labels sell. It shouldn't only be about how talented you are. You should also check good, okay, Sony, what does Sony usually sell when they sell their artist? Like just the tacit stuff. What does because they all have different business model. That's why they choose and pick their artist. Because they want a certain thing. You need to find what that certain thing in order for you to be able to sign to the right record label. And we're going to avoid all the stories of being screwed off.
Yeah,
But I
because,
mean,
as I say, that's a very good point. I never thought of it like, but it makes sense because a lot of times, what we're basically saying in essence is, it's good to be dope, but being dope is not enough. Because that's why a lot of the partnerships and deals and contracts that the artists sign is, they just want to be put on. I just want to get on. Because it's also, if the world can just hear me, it's over. I'm about to be off. But you never took time to say, okay, look, what did Sony do with similar rappers like me in my position? How did they move their careers? What happened? We get it. You're struggling. You're hungry. You want to get on, basically. But like Maoto said, that's a very good point. Every label, if you like sports, every coach has his own philosophy and style of play. So no matter how dope you are, if you don't fit in, if you're not disciplined, if you're not what we want, if you're not going to add to our label, our team dynamic, we're not really going to sign you. So the flippers and artists, we're not saying change your identity, but think of just the dynamic of what the resources that the label can bring you. But over and above that, what do I need to do to make the partnership work? Because sometimes I feel creatives, they don't think beyond what they need to switch, how they need to customize, because there's a bit of give on both sides. The label, they have the resources, they're going to put you on, do everything. But you as an artist, you need to at some point customize yourself to what they're planned for you. But you also need to be very intentional and have say. And with having say is probably why some artists are like, not, I'm more willing to take that, let me stay indie. You know? Because they can replicate what you're saying to your original. Okay, they can replicate that, but but the partnerships has to make sense.
I don't think you guys are answering me. I think you're making different points, which I absolutely agree with, right? The reason I'm asking this question about Sony and Nasty and them being able to replicate it, Universal rather, it's because, like, I mean, you have Elaine signed to, I don't know, Columbia.
Yes, Columbia.
And then you had Shoma Josie being signed by also a label in America. So I'm asking myself, like, what's better here? Like, is it better to be signed by African label because they can give you what the label in America can give you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if these guys get him, if they get him on Ellen, if they get him on Vlad, and we can see that they're doing this strategy, but these are the guys that are in South Africa because the conversations are here. Whereas when Ellen gets signed, it's like straight America, boom, you know? And then Shoma Josie, there, America. And then obviously Sharma, Josie, Nasty C, Elaine, you kind of think they're all operating at the same level because
Yeah.
these are the guys that say we want global presence,
yes,
really,
yes,
you know,
yes,
in their
yes.
music.
But the people who are not thinking, who are thinking less than that.
No, but I'm asking like I'm saying like would it be like I'm saying is it worthwhile to rather sign here because you're still dealing with people you know in country, but they can give you global.
Okay.
They can put you global. That's what I'm saying. Can they repeat? Because I actually wanted to say like I think what they're doing with Nasty is good.
Like with
Like,
the, okay.
but for me, like when I see that, then it's like then no one needs to sign to America.
I was about to ask,
You know,
Guti,
like
don't you
because
feel,
like the guys here can get you there
but
anyway.
then don't you feel that this is the same convo of actually not that this is the same. This is the unbecoming of the convo about Def Jam Africas and all of that. Guti, them having like a base here, an African base, which works into selling it to the American market, isn't that much better than just having a guy who's South African or African signed directly to the American market?
That's what I'm asking.
I get you. So because and I'll be honest with this, because of the current Def Jam Africa moves, I am now sitting on these moves are better. These labels need to have an imprint in SA, which is gonna have personnel working in the companies who are from SA, who are now working directly with personnel in their same level, not even reporting to
Across the globe.
same level
Yeah.
across the globe.
Exactly.
If we were PR for Def Jam, we are all PR for Def Jam. So
Yeah.
if I call you to ask, good, what's happening in
Yeah.
China, your information to me is not like a boss drilling shit down. It's
Yeah.
us sharing info.
Yeah,
but
like-
mina, I'm able to receive it in a way where I know what unestu ihlame, for example, ukanjani Africa.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand the question now properly, and I agree. It's much better for these companies to build imprints that will be African based wherever they want to be. It's like, for example, with the good music shit. If good music had an imprint in Nigeria which signed the bunch was gonna benefit way more from that deal than when he went to sign directly to good music
in
and became
And
the
he's
number
based
7 in the
Nigeria.
roster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a nigga remember some shit because he bumped into you in studio. We can't deny that some dude does forget about you, but as soon as he sees you in the passage, it's like, fuck. This dude, we need to do 1, 2, and 3 with this guy. Actually,
That's how Drake and Wayne got off.
that's
It was
that's
a
how it happens,
corridor
dog.
passing.
That's what it happens. So now, when people are not passing you in corridors, it's a different kind of vibe.
You end up like designer good music.
It's based, exactly. It's now based on just a formulaic, archaic shit.
Out of
that
sight,
is
out of mind.
out of sight, out of mind, dog.
Yeah.
Like it happens for real.
They're not in touch with you as an artist like they're supposed to be, to the level where they can really take it there, because like they will just use the blueprint Maoto's talking about, and it becomes a case
They
of
can't even help you in beef. If you get into beef, they don't know who you are beefing with. Same because we're in hip hop. If you get into beef, they don't know who the fuck is that other guy. They don't know how to come and assist you and be like, nah, is this beef worth it or not? Because they don't know the opponent. Whereas an African guy will be like, okay, maybe don't get into the beef with Driss, get into a beef with Kitini because of 1, 2, and 3. But the advice is just much better when it's closer to home. I personally.
that's a funny point, but it just as using the beef example. But at the end of the day, it speaks to A&Ring, artists and repertoire, artist management, and grooming artists. I don't know how. I'm not gonna go on. But
If you didn't know what A&R stands for today, it's because I didn't know.
I had to Google that, bro, because for the longest time I was like A&Rs, because A&Rs get a lot of flack. But yeah, I think it is a good point that this having someone on the ground who understands the market, even over above music. There's always been a conflict of where you see people like, how well do you know? Like, why sign direct to Def Jam or you can sign to Def Jam Africa, and all the dynamics that you mentioned, and then that makes sense in terms of really getting the full potential of an artist. Because before the dream, I was like, yo, I want to go to America, I want to go overseas and be signed to the main label there. But how much of you do they really understand? How much of you can they put you on? The dynamics. You know, because for them, it's always like, okay, we're gonna do what we do, but does that really work for a kid from similar as you who can rap his ass off? Yeah, we're gonna market the Africa. What does that mean? You are not African. You're
Zuluman
gonna
is
market
some
what
power.
you interpret as.
Zuluman is
I was
some
about to say,
power.
Guti, it's
Zuluman
like
is some power.
we
It's your
must we
interpretation.
must do also note the few misses where we saw who might have been more hard-headed than the other. When you look at, for example, the cover of Zulman with some power, I'm like, I'm not saying this is not nasty or it's not him who decided on the cover, but if I had to guess, he would be very low on my list to guess
Who
this
decided?
is the cover he would want it for an album. About the title was him.
Yeah.
Zulman Sambawa, that was him.
Yeah.
But you look at this, you look at the thingy,
The artwork.
the artwork, you're like, okay, someone was like, no, you already got the name. You already got the name, we got
The design. Yeah.
because and all of that and shit and whatever.
Bomba-
Wangagain food, what's a love? Unesty awusho
it's actually from my
iyafana
hood. It's actually from my
iyafana
hood.
no love le nto la.
It's actually from my hood. No. My standpoint, I think that's how the negotiations went. You get the name, the label gets to design the artwork. I think that's how the negotiation went. I know nothing about it. I wasn't there, but that artwork, okay. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah. But it makes sense. But it's a comeback to what I was saying. Like, it's a play from the label. You say, look, we want to put you out there. We want people to see you from Africa. It's a bit, it's a bit cliche for us, like to put him in that kind of attire. But it makes sense
I think sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
Uthi, like for example, there's a lot of shit which is in your house which you don't see for shit, and someone will walk in and be like, that is so representative of something, and you're like,
it's
it's
just
representative of my character. Oh, okay.
I just got this
and-
thing.
And it's like, not that it's true or it's facts that shit represents you, but this is just how this person read it.
yeah.
There might be people who are in a position of knowing how people are gonna read shit, and it
That's
might
where they
have
come
been
in.
coming from that. So
I mean, so out of interest, I don't know how long we are. I've dealt with a few guys that private company and then they sell to like a big
yeah.
big